Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Is it up? Hey,
No, that's
You
not
guys
open
have
anymore.
some-
You gotta
now?
reshare. You gotta reshare it. Yeah.
you gotta reshare.
This should be the open.
Yeah.
Us trying to get the picture back up. There it is.
There it is.
There we go.
All right, everybody. So the game here, John's going to explain, but it involves choosing from these movies.
Yeah, it's a simple game. It's a
This ain't
pick
simple.
3. You can only keep 3 of these movies and the rest are gone forever.
I'm so glad Halloween's not on this.
Well, you would have definitely
This-
kept that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the hardest one of these I've ever seen.
This one's hard. It is hard, but I found it easier by just narrowing my vision to a specific type
Okay.
and trying to
Mhm.
forget that the others exist. There's 2 or 3 movies on here I've never heard of, by the way. I've never heard of what is that? Videodrome?
Okay. That was the
Videodrome
James
is
Wood
pretty
one.
Cool. Yep.
Oh, James Wood. James
Yep.
Wood. How the mighty have fallen.
It was also on my top 5 in a previous episode on Xenomania. Check it out.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
It was.
So
I
does
was
that mean
there
you're
and I don't
keeping
remember
it?
No, I'm not keeping it. God, no. No.
All right, give me your first keeper, Ryan.
First keeper, I got to go with John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, it's
Just
All
a
right.
classic. If I kept going, I got to go with Kubrick's The Shining. I mean, go from
Okay.
psychological, go from sci-fi. Then I need a little vampire in my life, so I got to go with Joel Schumacher's Lost Boys. Are you really eating rice, Michael? So,
Oh man.
I like it.
I knew you were gonna
That's a
keep
good-
the Lost Boys.
I mean, it was hard because it was that or Near Dark, and Near Dark has a close place in my heart. But The Lost Boys is such a classic. It's just fun, and the hidden Peter Pan message basically throughout it.
Yeah, true.
It's like,
Good call.
now, I'm curious. I hope Child's Play is on yours. That's
On
that's
John's
for
or
you-
mine?
On yours, because that's like
No, too much trauma. Fuck that movie. So when I
Go
when
ahead.
I was a little kid, story time. When I was a little kid, I was just regaling my wife with this story last night. I watched Child Play at I don't know. I had to be 5 or 6 years old. I was young, and that's the way it was in the 80s. Like screw your kids who were watching this movie as a family kind of thing. And I remember I would wake up in the middle of the night from a Child's Play nightmare, run through the house, and it was like through a kitchen, downstairs, through a mud room, and then they bang on a metal door. And that was my mom's bedroom. But I wouldn't bang on it usually because it was open. I could just walk in. And then she would be watching. She'd have fallen asleep with HBO on. So I would watch whatever was on HBO, which was usually a horror movie while I was falling asleep in there to make it worse. But anyway, I had a nightmare that I made my way to the room. It was locked, and Chucky was in the mudroom with me. And then I woke up, and I ran through the house, got to the door, and it was locked. And I flipped a shit. I lost my mind. So Child's Play will never be a choice of mine ever again.
he just wanted your
I'm
soul.
done with that. I'm so glad that the franchise
Yeah.
turned super campy and less scary.
By
He
seeing
just wants your soul, man.
Yeah, just what is it like Haleba, whatever he says. He goes through it. He's like a
Sure,
junkie.
though.
What's the actor's name?
Oh,
played the-
Brad Dourif.
there we go.
Yeah,
Brad Dourif.
actually, screw that guy too.
Love Brad Dourif.
But anyway, I was really tempted to keep The Thing too, because The Thing to me is a very psychological film, and it's very sort of Lovecraftian. But I don't want to be a follower, so I'm swapping that out for The Changeling, which was my original choice anyway. But I did struggle with you doing The Thing. I love The Changeling. The Fly, I really enjoy the movie The Fly, which isn't it's kind of psychological, but it isn't Lovecraftian at all, really. Although the change, a person's slow change and drop into madness is very Lovecraft. Never mind. And the last one, I love the fog. I love the concept of the fog.
Yeah.
I love anything coming out of the fog. That's why I love The Mist so much. And I just think that movie needs, I don't know if we need another remake of The Fog, but I want that concept back. And you get that a little bit in 30 Days of Night because they come during the blizzard,
Yep.
the vampires, and just anytime that they're coming out of the unknown, I just, it gets me, you know?
They need a
There's
remake.
nothing better. than getting a cup of coffee and sitting around over here because we get really foggy mornings certain times of the year. And you
Yeah,
just
we
look
do.
outside, you're like, ooh, there's some shit crawling around out there for sure.
Get your radios on, ladies and gentlemen. It's Silent Hill all over again.
Yeah, there you go.
Those
But
are
those are the lame ones. Let's hear the cool ones.
those
from
are three
John.
good choices. So this is
not to act
the
so
hardest one of
surprised.
these I've ever seen. Like
Yeah, it is.
I struggled. I have one sure, no doubt, I would never ever get rid of, and that's Return of the Living Dead. That's
yeah.
probably one of my 5 favorite movies, not horror movies of all time.
Nice.
And then I think I need to keep Creepshow because I need to keep some George Romero around.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That works.
And then I struggle with the third. The Thing was going to be the third, but, again, not to repeat. So
My
I
bad.
narrowed it down to Fright Night and American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's hard.
Which one?
And
you
I
go with,
think
man?
I think I keep American Werewolf in London.
Nice choice.
Those transformation scenes are just too good to lose.
They're so, I can't say ahead of their time, but it's just like peak, not animatronics, prosthetics and everything. And there's no CGI, right?
Nope.
Yeah, it's just all
Yeah.
camera tricks and hard work. I love it, man.
It's such a good movie.
I have to rewatch it.
I could sit and do this again and come up with 3 different ones.
Yeah, depending
Oh,
on your mood.
absolutely.
Like take a nap and revisit it, and it's 3 different movies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to redo
Motel
it.
Hell,
Oh, yeah.
Motel Hell.
Evil Dead. But see, you're not asked to eliminate Evil Dead 2. So we're good.
Yeah, there you go. Army of Darkness in my mind isn't a horror movie, so that's an easy one to not worry about too. It's
Yeah.
a great movie, but it's an action comedy.
Consider little horror fantasy.
It's got some horror still.
It's a
horror
dark
and fantasy,
action
yeah.
comedy, Draction comedy. I mean, yeah, we're swallow yourself, and then they get into a battle royale in the pit of vomit, blood, and it's just
Mhm.
it's just silly. I love
Yeah.
it. Shop smart, shop as smart.
Speak about blood. I was looking at something the other day, and did you guys hear
boy.
that
I told you to see a doctor.
it didn't work out? It was all the code red.
Oh,
All the code red.
aptly named.
Do you know that Luc Besson, director and writer of The Fifth Element, La Femme Nikita, all those classics, is coming out with a Dracula film with Christoph Waltz as Van Helsing?
I only do because you exist, and so does our online relationship. That was super cool, man. That was super cool. I'm down for new Dracula, to be honest with you. Down for another reimagining of that. Castlevania scratched that itch for me for a while, but he hasn't been in the series forever.
There's no mustache,
Mhm.
so we're good. No
No
mustache.
porn stash?
No porn stash.
Ticket.
No Skarsgård.
Oh.
That's fine.
How
Maybe
did
I'll
they
go then.
How did they make a movie without a Skarsgård?
Right?
I mean, how they're taking it, they say it's very similar to Bram Stoker's Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola's, especially in the design, but he's going back to the book. So it's another book adaptation, but probably like 30 minutes shorter. give or
Okay.
take. Knowing Luke Besson, like his movies are like always an hour and a half and like hit the spot. Maybe
Mhm.
minus The Professional. That was like
They'll
I
probably
feel like
spend
2
way
hours.
less time at the castle. They'll probably move through that psychological issue and stuff like that much more quickly because most of the action occurs on the main, like back here, back home, I should say.
Hold on.
Hold on.
You said accept The Professional just because of the length, right? Ryan?
Well, yeah.
Leon the Professional, Leon the film.
Yeah.
Leon the
Yeah, I love
Matilda.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I love Leon. That's like one of my favorite movies. They consider
Is
it
it-
better than Speed, and I agree with that because it's just so well done.
That movie is
And-
way better than Speed.
Oh yeah.
I thought we were
Infinitely
getting
better
fighting
than
words
Speed.
there.
No,
Yeah.
no. I feel like that's like one of his longest movies. Maybe compared to The Fifth Element,
Mhm.
that's the second longest. But like if you get like La Femme Nikita or like Lockdown with Guy Pearce, they're like hour and a half films. And
Guy
Lockdown's
Pearce
good.
sucks, man. I'm
No,
sorry. I don't think I've ever seen a performance with Guy Pearce where I was like, man, I sure wish I was alive and enjoying this.
L.A. Confidential. No.
L.A. Confidential, he was all right. Fair enough, you bastard. You always catch me. He was good in L.A. Confidential, but he plays a writhing douchebag.
Well, he gets
in
his
LA
ass kicked by
Confidential.
Russell Crowe. It's okay.
Well, yeah, that makes it a little easier to watch. But he's technically a good guy
Oh,
in
you
that
know,
movie.
you want to know though? You want to know who might be? I don't know. It depends. I mean, I know our opinions. I mean, John and I's opinions. Martin, I want to know what your opinion is. Do you think
Oh God.
Don in 28 Weeks Later is a good guy for abandoning his wife
No.
as
No.
she's cornered?
No.
But if he has to live to survive for his kids,
I would beat zombies to death with my wife, with her actual body to save my children. But I mean, if I'm leaping, she's sitting 25 feet to my left right now, so she'll hear this. If I'm leaping out of a window as a bunch of raging, psychotic, zombified humans rush in to presumably batter her and bite her to death, and I leap out of a window without taking the extra 3 seconds to get her out first, and my excuse is I have to live to save the kids, and so I'm also saying you're not going to outrun them, so I'm leaving you behind because I'm running faster than you. I'm insulting her on multiple levels throughout that whole chase. Like, no, you're not going to make it because you're just not going to make it, so I'm going to let you die. I'm not down with that at all.
wait,
dude.
would you stop and look back at her as she's
Yes,
banging on the
once you
window?
goes deployed. No, she might as well have written "I want a divorce" in her own blood on the window when he was running away. And he runs. Now the fair part about Don is, you can tell he wasn't like, God, finally I got rid of that bitch. He's
Yeah.
hurting as he's
Yeah, he
running
is.
down in a way.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't show the same remorse for the dude he knocks off the boat and stuff like that. He
No.
regrets
But
having
like,
his-
I mean, listen, is Don a good guy? Probably not. Do I understand where he's coming from? Absolutely. Because
Yes.
this is apocalyptic law. Like, it's survival of the
There's
fittest.
laws.
If it means you leave your wife behind to get destroyed by the infected, and mine is not sitting right next to me, so I'm free and clear on this one.
Allison, I'm telling.
So I'll say this real quick. First off, 13 minutes in, we are talking about 28 weeks
Oh, cool.
later, ladies
call.
and gentlemen. And just to say, when John mentioned this to me, I had to laugh because that was the first thing Jada said to me as we were watching. She was like, that's what's happening. If that goes down, I'm running. I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah.
Oh, she told you?
Yeah.
She said every man for himself? Nice, Jada.
I
At
was
least
like-
she let you know where you stand.
She's
Listen,
like,
if
"It's the
I can
apocalypse."
save her,
Yeah.
No.
Like, she's
Yeah,
like, we
if
if
I
got
could
that all-
save,
all.
if I could save Allison, I'd save her. And we don't have kids to take care of.
And that's the thing
Yeah,
about it is,
true.
though, is that Don doesn't really I know they're pressed for time, but it doesn't appear as though he makes much effort in even thinking about, like, okay, well, here's why I need to save my, like, he's like, nope, lost cause, and he's
Yeah.
gone. He
Yeah.
ditches
Yeah.
all of them, and he's out.
Well,
And
and,
what's her name? With McCormack is the actress.
Catherine McCormick.
Catherine McCormack. She catches it bad in 2 movies because don't forget she's William Wallace's wife in Braveheart.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Her death kicks off that massive, effort by William Wallace, and then they end up saving England. Whoops, saving Scotland from England and all that.
Scotland, not
Um,
England.
But she's like a professional catch it bad actress. She just never seems to have a good day.
She's like the
Uh-huh.
female version of Sean Bean. Like, you see her, you know she's going to die. It's just, that's how it's going.
Pretty
Like,
much.
it's like,
She
you see,
gets-
I was going to say, you just
no,
see her.
please.
I was just going to say, it's like, you hope that she'll live, and then they take her away from her. Take her away from us. There we go.
And they make you think she's dead immediately. She gets hit sticked from like off camera by a zombie or an infected, I should say. Like Terry Tate from the Office Linebacker commercials. She
Yes.
just gets wiped out, and he's just like, oh, and he's just running away with his flailing
Yeah.
arm. Oh my god!
And listen, if
no.
he never looks back, he doesn't even know that she survived the initial wave.
Yeah, well, we didn't know
I don't
that
think.
either until later.
Yeah, which was a big shock. It was, again, first watch for me. And there's God, it just the twists, the turns. John will know what I'm saying when I say the stupidity of certain characters. But he
Mhm.
got a good
Al-
cast.
Almost every Don might, up until one moment, Don might actually be the smartest person in this fucking movie.
Well, yeah, abandoning his wife is what saves his life. It's just not
Yeah.
honorable. Yeah,
It's
that
not
is the
moral.
smart play.
But from there on, almost every decision that anybody makes in this movie is the worst possible decision they could make. Hey, let's resettle London 6 months after this viral outbreak.
They haven't
That's
even
why.
cleared all the bodies yet, which
Yeah.
is wild. The infected bodies.
And as you're going to find out, they definitely have not gone house to house.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Which would be, you would assume, the first thing you would do, or just
Yeah.
carpet bomb the frickin' city and start over. One of the other.
And then in one of the first groups of resettlers, you're bringing children?
I think that
And-
wasn't that like a mistake though?
And the
Didn't the
character,
kids sneak in? Or
yes.
no, am I wrong?
No,
Okay.
well, they sneak over out of the safe zone. But to go back,
Yeah.
Rose Byrne's
Okay, but they were
character,
in this.
Rose Byrne's character Scarlett does say that. She questions Idris Elba's character Stone. Is this a smart play? We shouldn't bring children in. So I'd say she's like the
Yes.
second smartest besides Don in that whole.
But then she makes dumb decisions too.
Yeah, she does.
She wants more
She
room to make
does.
her own dumb choices.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to support this dumb choice. I have my own dumb one
Yeah.
to make.
And so Idris Elba is in the film, by the way, playing
Mhm.
Army guy, General Sergeant Gurr, whatever his name is. And then
Stone.
Stone, what an
Stone.
inspired name for a stone man. But he's not so stony because he loves kids and putting them in danger. And then there's Jeremy Renner,
Yes.
who plays
Mhm.
Army badass guy. It's like his
Doyle.
audition tape for Hawkeye. Yeah, I could be
Basically.
special forces, bro. I could be on the Avengers. Look at this
See,
performance.
perfect snipe. Can
His
do
only
this with a bow
weakness
and arrow.
is clearing the snow.
I can be Jason Bourne when Matt Damon gets tired of it.
You know what, though? I got to tell you about that. By the way, I'm sorry, Jeremy. That was a mean joke. I almost died too once doing something stupid. The Bourne movie he was in was one of it might be my favorite Bourne movie of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
Legacy?
it's a really good movie.
Yeah. It's
Jeremy
like the
Renner's
Bourne,
so good.
not Matt
Bourne.
Damon.
The Born
Bourne,
Out
not
So
Matt Damon.
identity.
Yeah. The Bourne misidentity. So we get to this plot rolling in, and we have our cast of characters, Imogen Farts and Jeremy Renner, Idris Elba. The guy who plays Don's got a name. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
Robert Carlyle.
Robert Carlyle, Train Spotting.
Oh, Train Spotting. Yes. Good call. It's been probably 2 decades since I've seen Train Spotting.
Oh yeah.
And
Best
we
heroin
said
movie ever.
McCormick is also in it. But other than that, the star power is the guy who plays Flynn, whose last name is just French. Yeah, I caught that late. Is it? I want to say Favreau because it's the only other French last name I can think of. But what's his name? Flynn?
Harold Perrineau, I believe is how
Perrineau.
it's pronounced.
He's got one of those
From-
like EAU last names.
That's another guy.
Cashing in on his lost fame.
Yeah.
That's another guy who you see and then he he's gonna die eventually. You know what I mean?
His skin's too perfect for him to live. A wrinkle on the guy. So that's our cast of characters. What my point is that we're not dealing with a tremendous amount of star power here. There's up and comers. Even Idris Elba
Mhm.
wasn't very big when this movie came out.
I think his biggest thing was The Wire at the time.
Yeah, he was kind
was
of.
his
It's
biggest
kind of
thing.
everybody, and I think so. That kind of speaks to another sort of smaller budget but bigger budget than the
Mhm.
first, but still not a tremendous amount of money going into the paychecks.
A $15 million budget. It's
That's
decent.
I'm not
At that
for an action
time?
movie of this caliber, even at that time.
2007?
We're not talking.
Or
You're not
six,
talking
I'm
summer
sorry.
blockbuster movie. Yeah, even in 06, 15 mil is like nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's probably
You're doubling Phantasm 2's budget.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, it's not a
True.
lot of money, and they didn't pay anybody for that.
No.
All that money went into like desert landscapes and shit.
And Reggie's actresses.
Yeah. But Or these actresses. But yeah, so the movie itself is another sort of like really trying to stand on its own merits, is the kind of what I'm trying to point out. It does a
Mhm.
decent job of that. Maybe not through the script writing, as the guys will probably get into right now, but
Oof. There's too many hands in the pot, I feel.
Yeah, I mean the base story is fine.
Yes.
You pick up 6+ months after the original ends. You answer a couple of the questions that they brought up in the original, like it takes 5 weeks for the infected to die. And so you should be clear at that point. They begin resettling and they make the strange decision to allow Don's children, Andy and Tammy, in. And I mean, they
what
make a
the
point of
names?
yeah, Andy at 12 is the youngest person in the country.
That's pretty neat too.
Can we just name drop him
neat.
real quick? His name is Macintosh Muggleton.
It's one of my favorite names ever.
I mean, I like that there's Muggle in the name. I wanted to make a joke about his parents not loving him, but there's a bit of charm in Macintosh Muggleton.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
I mean, none of us have names that were particularly difficult to learn to spell, so I don't think we have a ton of perspective on that. But can you imagine being a kid trying to learn how to spell your own name and it's Macintosh Muggleton?
I would go by Mac.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
does now.
I'm sure he went by Mac his entire life.
Yeah.
Or Mug.
Mom and Dad are probably the only people in the world that call him Macintosh.
Come here, Macintosh.
It's also so very British.
It is exceptionally British.
Eggs in a basket.
And then there's Imogen Poots' character, Tammy. And she's got a fun name too, Poots. I make fun of it every time I see her. I watch
Poots.
is it not the Outer Range, is it? Yeah, Outer Range. I believe is the name of the show with Brolin and a few other great actors, and she's in it. She does a great job in it, but they got weird. They went real heavy on the weird. I like weird, but they went like weird. We had a hard time with getting into it, keeping up with it. So she's a good actress. It was weird seeing her again so young. I was like, oh my God, her face is exactly the same. It's just kind of like they smushed her down.
Yeah. Yeah.
She carries her role
just
well.
shorter.
Yeah,
she
she's
does.
shorter.
Mhm.
She's a good actress. In a movie where people aren't really trying to flex, as far as I'm concerned, nobody seems to be trying to win an award.
They're just having fun.
Yeah,
That's all
feels
it's
like
about.
The resettling brings up a big question for me right off the bat is how did they evacuate so many people? With how quickly they show that this virus spreads. How did they get so many people out?
Well, I think that they had time before it would spread. I don't know if those people all were evacuated from London in particular. A lot of the cities probably got mostly wiped out because of how quickly that goes.
Maybe
But
the outskirts.
Yeah, the outskirts.
Yeah.
People might have
But
gotten out enough.
that's a lot of people they're bringing back in there very quickly.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
establish also immediately it's forbidden to cross the river.
Yes.
Yeah.
And two little brats don't listen.
These two little turds don't make it 24 hours before they have to cross the river
Well,
to go back home to find a picture of their mom.
He was forgetting
You
what
already
she
brought
looked
up.
like.
already brought up me having kids, and I can tell you that tracks. Seems pretty on the nose.
24 hours. Come on, guys. Like 24 hours?
Yeah, they're rebellious. I mean, they're kids, but I mean,
They're
when they,
selfish little jerks.
I mean,
They are. I
listen,
want to see their mommy.
it's harmless in the beginning, and then
they're going to.
oh yeah, they meet their mom Alice, played by the great Catherine McCormick, and all hell breaks loose from that moment.
Well, here's Doyle's
Slowly but
first
surely.
mistake, and also the military's first real mistake. How did they manage to get so far away so quickly? Doyle sees them almost immediately and calls it in.
Yeah.
And it's not really fully established, but they're gone long enough to steal a bike.
Yep.
get home, explore the house, and find mom, who is not exactly dead.
Not doing great.
No.
She's not doing
She's
great.
not in good
He
shape.
didn't have enough time to be dehydrated and or starve to death, which is interesting because I don't see that, she was foraging much. But I guess she could have. She could have grabbed a can of beans or something along the way. But-
Rats.
Well,
yeah. Whatever. That
Squirrel.
didn't look like her will to live was too high when she was found. And they grab her. They bring her back into the safe zone, which is interesting because I think in most cases the government would just kill her.
Well, that's what Stone wanted to do. He wanted to just shoot
Yeah,
her.
that's
Yeah.
Well, she is infected.
Well,
But
did they
not-
know that then?
They know it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after they bring her back to the safe zone, they find out.
Yeah.
He wanted to shoot her then. I would have shot her in the countryside. I wouldn't have even
Absolutely.
established. I would have known risk and been like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Look at the flowers.
How about
God.
this? You can
No.
you can continue to live in this house until your test results are in, and then when you come back positive, we're gonna kill you.
Also,
You can't bring her into your safe zone.
it's true. You can't.
And it's an interesting thing to establish the patient zero style, like non-infected. So they're infected, but not showing symptoms. They're carriers, but they're not, not hosts, something like that. They can
Mhm.
give it, but they're not being killed by it, just so everybody knows.
I'm calling them ragers.
That is how this happens.
Ragers. Ragers.
Rager.
Ragers.
Rager.
Ragers. I mean,
You know what I have a question about? I have a question about something, and I want you guys to weigh in. Ragers. So let's say Alice is out there, and the second she gets infected, they stop trying to beat the shit out of her and or bite her because they don't eat people. The Ragers,
Mhm.
they rage.
yes.
Why aren't the Ragers? I don't believe that that's what happens. By the way, I don't believe that as soon as she became infected, they stopped beating the hell out of her. But maybe that's how she survives. But the other thing to reach over to is why don't they beat? It should be a giant melee. Why aren't they beating the hell out of each other the whole time too? Their rage.
Right.
There's never any discussion like zombies or anything like that where they don't go after other infected.
Mhm.
That's a
You
good.
would think that, yeah, they beat the hell out of a poodle. They would beat the hell out of each other too.
That's a good.
be a
I'm-
logic there.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with they can, in some ways, sense that there's no need. The smell or something is enhanced.
Similar
We
like
need
a
that,
zombie.
but what does it make them less rageful towards that thing? Probably. It smells like their
Probably.
favorite dinner to them. They're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to beat that up. That's Salisbury steak. And then they go after someone else. Okay, I can live with that, but I knew it was bothering me. And it started bothering me as soon as I started watching the opening scene again. And I was like, but how did she live? Did they just stop caring about her after she was infected? Well-
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, she does manage to hide in her home in an area that, while not cleaned or anything, has been to some level decontaminated and wiped of any infected. So she's sort of safe.
Okay.
But it's definitely a military mistake to not be going house to house because they'd have found her and none of
Taking
this
care
would
of
have
it.
happened.
Taking care
Nope.
of her then.
Just
Put her in a petri dish somewhere.
Which is what Scarlett wants to do, which is where her big mistake comes in.
And why did she want to do it, John?
Science.
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 This is why I don't believe in any of these scientific theories. The earth is flat. Climate change is a hoax. Al Gore is my god. Wait, no, he's a science guy. Never mind. But yeah, she wants to science the shit out of this thing so she can come up with a cure. So they can go
Mhm.
around with blow darts and cure the infected as they become infected.
Yeah, and like this is an apocalyptic zombie infected like rule. You can't bring the infected inside of your safe zone.
No.
It never works. Never. You can't keep them with you.
You know what movie does that right? They Come at Night. They never really flush out what the thing is they're all shelled up or they're all holed up against too, by the way, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
It might be a virus, it could be a monster. They never really get into it. But there's a dude who's trying to get in the house and they shut that shit down at the door. He's like,
Mhm.
"Yep, you might be a good person. You're not coming in." He drags him outside. He's like, "I'll kill you."
Mhm.
It was nice even for him to do that at that point because there was a B&E going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, John's got a good point. Don't let him in.
And Scarlet somehow manages to win out, at least for long enough for it to become a colossal mistake, which is where Don then makes his big mistake.
Oh yeah, he
He
does.
has sex with his wife.
Well,
His filthy
Close
infected
enough.
wife.
No,
yeah,
Close enough.
he just makes out with her. He gets the second base.
Yeah.
which is crazy because it's essentially a sexual assault. Let's be real. She's like completely helpless,
However,
and he's
Mhm.
trying to make himself feel better, and he's getting like real into it. He's like, I'm
She-
sorry for leaving you behind, baby.
but she accepts it though because she's carrying the virus, and she transfers it to Don. And you see it when he starts turning slowly. She smiles. She knows what she
Mhm.
did. She just didn't know that he was going to go apeshit on her.
Yeah, she didn't know he was gonna beat the shit out of her. But then again, now we have another discussion to have about the infected, not hurting the infected. I mean, maybe spousal abuse overrides this the sudden urge for revenge against your
Mhm.
wife who just infected you.
But it's
But
she also got a very vigorous decontamination when she came in, so maybe
yeah.
whatever the smell or pheromone that's given off isn't as strong in that moment.
Okay,
Ooh.
this
But
is believable to me.
I think it's spousal rage.
I think probably that's more logical in my mind.
I was also thinking
sure.
he kind of like because the way Robert Carlyle acts when he's turned, it seems like he still has a little bit of a memory. Like
I think he's
like,
pissed at her.
he's got like he
no.
remembers. He's one of the few who remember. Oh, he's definitely pissed.
He's definitely pissed at her, and he definitely seems to have some memory because he is laser focused on his kids after that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
right, that's true.
because he gets pissed at them because well, when they find out that their mom's alive, he's trying to explain, and they're like, "You're a liar. We hate you," and he's well, that's where it starts, where he goes to see her, and again, all
Mhm.
hell breaks loose.
Now,
Weeks later.
to be fair to Don again,
Giselle.
he didn't necessarily lie to his kids about how she died.
No,
He just left out a
And
lot of key information.
He
It's-
he
was wrong.
omitted some stuff, but he has every reason at that point to believe that she is dead.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no
There's-
way.
I mean, he left out the I abandoned her part, but
In his mind, he's like, I left her behind. I watched her getting the shit kicked out of her as I ran to safety. I remember she's
Mhm.
definitely dead. Oh man. Then we get there. From this portion that you guys did a great job of detailing right up to that too. We get into our actiony portion.
Yes.
Let's get the military involved because we've got
Mm-hmm.
a big situation going on. It's spreading like wildfire in the safe zone now, and we're starting to go from groups to hordes
So
of
let's
them running around.
so let's trap all the
Very
survivors underground.
let's trap them underground and kill the lights.
Yeah.
That's wild, by the way.
It's basically they were
People-
trying to reenact Blade. It didn't work out. It didn't work
No.
out. Don got in.
No. Yeah, Don gets in, and it makes me question: is Andy dumb?
When he's looking at
'cause
him,
you-
I would have
when
screamed.
he's looking
Old
at him
muggle
and like,
puss?
yeah, like
He's a muggle.
listen, it's pretty obvious at that point that Don is infected.
God, he's
And he's
foaming blood at the mouth.
Mad.
Yeah,
People react strangely. We have keen insight into this because we see people acting strangely and on the day to day. People act very strangely when it comes to making good decisions involving their loved ones.
Yeah.
So with that, I could see a little kid being like, "But it's dad."
hmm
Yeah, I could see that
Mhm.
going on.
Oh,
and
Andy.
and listen, aside from shutting off the lights, they really did nothing to protect those people. I mean, Don just walked right in.
Oh yeah.
He didn't break his way in. He just basically walked through a door, and he's in the middle of the people that they're trying to save.
I could think that they were trying to do out of sight, out of mind, but Don's laser focus on his kids kind of helped him get to them real
Mhm.
fast.
Yeah.
Because none of the other infected make their way there that quickly.
No.
No.
No. It's his sense.
Yeah, it's old Don,
Mhm.
the alpha. It's kind of interesting to think of the
Hell for
juxtaposition though between dads, Don the dad, and Dad from 28 Days Later. I can't remember the actor's name
Oh,
or the
Frank.
character's name because I'm
Frank.
right. Frank, thank you.
Yeah.
Because Frank was like, "I love you, get away from me now," and starts like doing that. Don seems to be like he's just sort of being given a green light into all of his primal urges to kill his family. That's what he's always wanted
true.
deep down.
hmm
Oh God, it's
I
true.
don't want a family.
I'm done with this. Almost died. I'm turned.
It's such a wild, wild thing. And everything is explainable and rational, but it's tricky. They're listen, dear listeners, they're very, very dead set on making sure that we think Don is a hero.
hmm
Yes.
I have a very hard time. Don is a hero. Man. At best,
Yeah.
Don is an everyman. Don is an average dude, but a hero, I do not know.
Some of the best heroes are the average man.
Sure, that rise above and put themselves at risk to save, I don't know, their wives from being murdered.
Yeah, he had to
I
save.
mean,
He had to save himself for his kids.
I don't think many heroes would, and it would be cool if he was a hero. He would overcome the infection at the last minute and not try to bite off Imogen Poot's nose. But no, that's not how Don rolls. Don's gonna kill his kids.
yeah. And yeah. I mean, that's Don though. That's
That's just
quintessential Don.
I mean, you
Alpha
guys know
Don.
Don. All D
That's
swizzle.
Don. Come on.
Sizzle. Oh,
Good old
And
Don.
Don.
who
boy.
takes old Donnie boy out? Who's the one who finally drops Don to his knees?
It's Tammy, but before
Yep.
then,
Yeah.
we get a whole
Tammy's
bunch
got
of
what it
other
takes.
deaths, though, man.
We
Oh,
got. I mean,
man,
let's hit
they-
all these stupid military people dying.
Things go south quick. I mean, it takes General Stone what 10 minutes to give the order to shoot everything that moves.
And then burn everything
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. And gas everything.
Yep.
Shoot everything. Their protocol was clearly if the slightest thing goes wrong, we're killing everybody. We're not taking any chance. Everybody's dead.
I mean, it's a fair protocol to have for the military, being logic minded. But
Mhm.
if you're trying to establish a colony or like recolonize and stuff, and people figure out that colony 1 failed and they murdered everyone. Oh, actually, it's the military. They're just going to lie. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
No, they
They
went
already-
to second New England.
Here's another one.
New England.
New England. Oh,
So at least Tammy has what it takes to make the hard choices, man. She got the biggest brass balls in the family.
I mean, she kind of has to redeem herself because this is all her fault anyway.
It is 100% her fault.
Yeah, she does. But then she kills our hero. Which there goes my
But-
hero. Walking through those.
So you get the military shooting everybody, and the first time I think Andy is infected, right?
Yep.
He's next to a guy who gets shot, and he gets blood splattered all over him.
Yeah.
They like to do that where it gets all over your mucous membranes and stuff. And that happened in 28 Days Later, too, a lot, where they'd get blood, like they would be bludgeoning or stabbing something to death,
Mhm.
and they'd get it in their mouth and around their mouths and their eyes. And if it gets in your eyes, we know that works. All it's got to
Yep.
do is touch your mucous membranes and you're done.
Yep.
So, yes, that's...
It splatters around it, though. You know?
Mhm.
Unlike Cillian Murphy, when it gets all over his face, like, she questions him. And he's like, I'm still human. But, like, when it hits the kid, Andy, it's just, like, splattered. Just like, pop, pop. And
Well-
it's like, you okay? Yeah.
So I kind of have a theory, and we have to get to from there. You wind up with a group of 4 of Doyle, Scarlett, Tammy, and Andy. I think Scarlett thinks he could be infected already at that point and wants to get him out because of the potential that he carries the immunity that his mom carried. I think she's willing to accept that risk the whole time with Andy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she wants the cure. She wants to cure everyone. She wants to bring peace. She doesn't want it to really affect the whole world. And she's trying to prevent it, but she's just one person against the whole army, literally, trying to kill everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you wind up with Scarlett trying to solve things, and Doyle calling for Flynn to come and pick him up in the helicopter.
That was a cool
Love the
scene.
helicopter saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene when he's chopping everyone up, slicing and dicing, and that poor guy. What was his name? Oh God. Sam.
Seth, Seth,
It was Seth. Okay.
the guy that they had with them, the sort of
Yeah.
fifth wheel guy.
Yeah.
Seth.
He jumps on there, and he just goes for a ride. It was like
So
poor James Bond
listen,
impression.
the helicopter scene is great. It's great visuals. It's the only scene in both movies that doesn't sit great with me, though.
Why is that?
Because it's everything else has like a realistic edge to it,
Okay.
except that Flynn is able to angle the helicopter nose down
Perfectly.
so the rotors just chop through infected.
Yeah, it's dumb. You're
Ye-
right. They went very wrong with that. Like that belongs in an Avengers movie.
I was still down for it.
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome visual and it's a fun scene, but it doesn't fit this universe.
No, it's like Zombieland. You can't
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can't do that here where it's so serious, where they just did all of that ripping a family apart in front of us
Mhm.
for all that time and making and all that emotional. They started the scene with Don abandoning his wife. You can't do that. I agree,
No.
John.
Popcorn
It's not
thriller.
right place. Not right place.
Yeah.
Just popcorn filler. Right
That's
there.
like if in Nosferatu, like he does a Daredevil driver and the rock bottom on somebody in the middle of the movie. Would it get good fan service? Yeah, people would cheer, but it doesn't fit
Absolutely.
the movie.
It would have been
Yeah,
10
doesn't-
times better if he laid the rock bottom on
Is that a
Willem Dafoe.
tombstone pile driver?
Pandemonium has broken loose in the Pontiac Silverdome. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get an idea. All right, England is compromised once again. There are survivors.
Yep.
Andy and Tammy are among them.
Mhm.
Then we got Doyle.
Idris Elba dies,
Scarlett.
doesn't he? Stone's dead. Doyle lives. Long live Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
Oh.
Doyle lives a little longer.
A
Yeah.
little longer.
And Doyle is the heroic sacrifice trying to save them as the military is coming with their flamethrowers and their gas.
And he gets burn, baby, burn. Da, 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 da,
Yeah, he
da.
does. Tough
Oh,
death.
Yeah,
At
that
least
was.
for him, it was quick. When you get military grade flamethrowers, it's faster than slow burns.
It wasn't
Mhm.
that fast for that girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm just saying.
Well, that's a made up story. that's a
Yeah,
shit. That's a
we're
fairy tale.
we're talking about true stories.
Yeah, true fake stories.
This is based on a real, true, fake story, just like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That one's much realer than that helicopter. And I bet
Yeah.
you there's 10 guys just like Leatherface within 10 miles of where you live. But Doyle goes down, saving the kids.
Mhm.
Very honorable, very not Don behavior.
No,
And
Alpha Don.
where do the kids end up? How does that work out for them?
So they're now with Scarlett,
Mhm.
running and driving to try to get to Wembley Stadium to get evac on Flynn's helicopter, even though Flynn is insisting he's only going to take Doyle.
Yeah.
They're determined to force Flynn to take everybody.
And I mean, they're probably banking on the fact that it's really tricky to leave two kids.
Mhm.
It seem healthy behind because you know how this thing works. It goes quick.
Oh,
So it's like
oh,
they're
yeah.
here, they're clearly not infected. Wink, wink. And so that's basically. So what do they do about the city? Do they just leave it for everybody to die over time like they did last time, or do they do something cooler than that?
Well, definitely cooler. I mean, they fire flies from the sky, just burns everything down to the ground. They're
The
just making it too
Cloverfield
aggressive.
protocol.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Yeah, they basically napalm the city, which is pretty sweet. To be honest with you.
It's a cool scene. I mean, you feel like
Yeah.
you feel like because you see the people burning and like not only the infected, but like humans going through it, and then you're just like, "Ugh." Like I understand, but
Mhm.
like, and then you see Don hiding behind the wall, and that's how you know he's smart
Mhm.
because he's
Yeah.
memory. He's hiding. He should have been the sequel. 28 years later, you know, Don versus Cillian Murphy's character. Let's do it.
I mean, yeah, except they established that they only live 5 weeks.
Oh, true.
It's true.
True.
So I wonder how 28 years later can work out, actually, if that's the case. Can't wait to see the
I
plot.
mean, from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be completely unrelated again.
Ooh, okay. That works.
Is it going to be a direct sequel, you think? To the
Well,
first one?
before we do that,
My
let's
bad, my
do
bad.
Yeah, let's
okay. So where do we end up? We've carpet bombed the city. The kids
Mhm.
are out with Scarlet and
Well, Andy, Tammy, and Scarlett are now in a subway terminal.
Mhm.
That was a cool scene too, with the night vision.
Yeah, I
scope.
mean, it's cool. It's also very 2007.
Oh yeah, I felt like I was
There
watching
was
Quarantine.
and Wreck before Quarantine. Like horror movies had to have a night vision scene at that point, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you get the night
Fair.
vision scene, and you get the end of poor Scarlet.
yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Good riddance. Then
What?
Then Don
Sorry, we're getting
finally
to that point
catches
where I'm
up.
getting tired.
Don finally catches up with Andy.
And then what happens?
Yeah. Tammy calls him out.
Yeah. After Don gives Andy a little chomp.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Gives them a little gift to bring back
Yeah.
to civilization, and then we know everything from there, how things
Yep,
sort of
and-
settle up.
Yep. Andy definitely has his mother's immunity.
Yeah. So
He's a
Andy-
carrier. He's not infected.
what happens at the very end of the movie? What's the ending sequence for our listeners?
Well, they
Well,
landed in France.
Remind them,
You get
Daylight.
Flynn's disastrous mistake.
which was taking Andy back to
Yep,
the
taking-
continent.
Taking Andy and Tammy back to the continent.
For those of you guys who suck at
And-
geography, England is on an island. And so the infection that occurs in the original movie is kind of not a big deal for the rest of the world. It sort of sucks for England. But everybody else is like, well, that's terrible. And then later on, they can go back and deal with it. But if you bring Andy to France, that's connected to, what would you say, 68% of the landmass in the world, maybe?
Yes.
You could get to Africa on foot.
Yep.
From France. Oh, yeah.
Africa, Asia. Yeah.
If it spreads
Yep.
like that, you could lose, you could lose 8 billion people, presumably.
Yes, you can.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So Andy and Tammy are responsible for the end of the world.
Well, that side of the world, we're still good. USA. Gotta love the Atlantic and the Pacific, baby. Until 28 years later comes, and then maybe that's the USA.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna still be in England 28 years
You
later.
torpedo every ship that's on its way over. As soon as you figure out what's going on, you just nail everything that left port after a certain time, just in case. All cargo ships go down. You just take out everything. What if there other countries are going to get mad? They're gone. And then you just make damn sure nothing comes over here. You wait. Don't even wait 5 weeks. Wait 15 years. Wait for bodies to decay out there to turn to dust, and then go over. Start mining the cobalt you want and stuff like that. Because, I mean, that's my take on it. Sorry, I'm very rational. I would make for a terrible movie.
Well, I mean, I did just kind of trash the whole plot unintentionally with everybody made stupid decisions.
You should have, though. It was a dumb. I mean, that's what makes it fun, because you're criticizing that the whole time. You're criticizing it from Don's first blunder, which is what I think it was. I think he should have saved his wife. I think he could have pulled it off too. I felt like there was plenty of time. Look at Ryan's face. Oh my god.
I think he dies. I don't think he could.
He would have
You think
died.
she would have lived and he would have died?
No.
I think
She's
they
a,
both die.
oh, she's
Well, I
a-
mean,
she's
she
immune.
lived. She would live because she's immune, but Don had no way of knowing.
All right, you guys are making me start rethinking my choices here.
And
I'm
then
gonna go upstairs and club Kim like a baby seal just in case she's infected.
are you immune? Okay.
Ah, man. But yeah, so just so you guys know, after all that side street stuff, they do show up in Paris, and the movie sequence ends with hurried, rageful feet running around. You can see the Eiffel Tower in the background, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they were
That's a
going to
cool
bring the Eiffel
scene.
Tower into the. By the way, just to plug Clear Obscure Expedition 33, the Eiffel Tower, the way they do the Eiffel Tower in that game, where it's all broken apart and everything, is beautifully well done. It's a great iconic way to do the Eiffel Tower.
Nice.
And you should buy that game. The end.
It's only $49.99. It's reasonable.
I think I paid $39.99 for it on PS5.
Nice.
So check it out, people. But anyway, back to the films. That's how it ends. That's how 28 Days Later ends. And
Yeah.
setting up a punt for 28 Years Later, which will come out 28 years after 28 Days Later did. Is that the way it's coming down?
Not quite.
Ew.
It's a little short. It's
Why wouldn't they just wait?
It's 23 years later, I think.
I had a rip in my shirt.
Boop, boop, wee. Show that skin.
Hello, everybody. But yeah.
And
Yeah.
this episode will air the day before 28 years later. So
we have to go see that in the theaters and do
so
like a reboot.
what I'm going to say is, after you watch this episode, go to the theater, grab a pop of popcorn. They might even have a bucket dedicated to 28 years later.
What would you want a 28 years later bucket to be?
Wouldn't it be cool if it was like the hands like grabbing out of the bucket, like on the sides, like reaching out?
Okay.
It's not related to 28, the franchise at all, but Gwyneth Paltrow's head, but in like upside down invert in the popcorn, you're picking it out of her neck. Because I just like when her head's cut off in movies.
I would
Big
expect
fan.
it to be a box for 7, just a big ass
That'd be
box.
kind of neat. I was
What's
going
in
to
the
say
box?
Alice's head.
Popcorn.
I kind of want, I feel for her. I liked her.
Miss McCormick.
Good one.
I would like an infected head popcorn
good.
bucket.
Gwyneth Paltrow could be infected though.
She
Can I keep
could.
my dream alive? Okay.
She could. You know what? I think the 7 bucket should be a box with the head inside, and when you eat enough of the popcorn away, you expose the head.
Oh, that's
Sweet.
cool.
That works.
Like that.
That works. That's a good one.
People screaming in the theater.
All right.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where I'm going to turn into a pumpkin if we don't wrap up soon. So that's 28 weeks later, everybody. A worthy sequel to 28 Days Later for sure. Double the budget, and we probably would have doubled the fun. I'm not going to lie. But they did great with what they had. I think they would have been cooler with some more money, to be honest. But they did do well with 15 mil. And I mean, we don't have a star system or anything, but it's better than average movie for sure. It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely above average. It's definitely a watch.
Yeah,
It's definitely a rewatch.
Yeah, the fact that we're talking about it like it's old is freaking me out because 2007 was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's 18 years.
God damn.
Mm.
I was just out of college. All right, moving on. We're gonna do top fives. It's top fizzle
Yes,
time, my nizzles.
Top 5
So-
fizzles? Well, we're talking about
Oh, that'd be
sequels
cool.
then. Top 5
Right, but
fizzles? My sizzle?
we're gonna start this. I will end the recording if you go over 4 minutes. So we're gonna start this now, Ryan. You have 4 minutes. Go.
So,
Oh
want-
man.
well, first I wanted to thank John because he gave me the idea for the top 5, and we just saw a little more Skin. You can check that out on Mr. Skin later tonight. If anyone, there we go.
Louis.
Um,
Risque, Ryan.
I'm compared to my
You're
last
down
joke.
to 3.5.
Damn it. But I went with sequels that don't connect to the original. So to start off, my number 5.
Good. That's damn good.
There's
Yeah,
gonna be
sorry.
there's a couple that I'm gonna have to explain, but to start off, number 5, I saw it a long time ago. Would love to give it a rewatch. It's Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Okay.
The only thing connected to it is that Hamilton High School is the same setting. Other than that, it's like somewhat of a slasher spiritual film with basically the character of Vicky Carpenter, a high school student who becomes possessed by Mary Lou Maloney, a student who died at her high school prom in 1957. And she goes haywire on these kids. Really haywire.
I
Are
want to
you
make it
fro-
look like it was frozen.
Yeah, I thought you were frozen. That happened. I thought that happened earlier too, and I was like,
If
"What
you're
the
gonna
hell?"
disassociate, kids, make sure you have fun with it. All right, Ryan. Oh, it's number 4, buddy. That's a good one to start. on that too.
Number 4, I'm gonna have to explain, but Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. The reason why it's on this list is because they made him a demon who can possess souls as a worm to go down your throat. And I enjoy the movie for what it is. It was supposed to end the series and kind of bring into Freddy versus Jason, but you can't have a worm be Jason traveling around. He's a poor kid who got drowned and then got reanimated by lightning. He's not
As
a
one
s-
does.
he's not a worm. But which connects to my number 3, Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, okay.
So, sequel, yes, they do a quick rundown in the beginning, but it's really like a standalone film. And I mean, the whole premise, Freddy versus Jason, awesome. It goes back to the old school Universal of the Wolfman meets Frankenstein or House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, but
Fair comparison.
they connected the stories. This, it's like, okay, Freddy's in hell. I meet Jason. Why were you in hell, Freddy? We're not going to mention like Final Nightmare. We're not going to mention why Jason's in hell because he's a zombie who just keeps getting brought back. Oh, I'm sorry, he's a worm now. So there's no connection. Again, I love the film, but no connection to it. Which goes to number 2. Oh, sorry, John.
I can't love Freddy versus Jason. I have to just interject here. I can't love it because they cast it wrong.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Kane Hodder has to be Jason.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree
It's
with
not
that.
any.
Plus,
Kane Hodder is Jason at this point.
plus the original script had Tommy. I think it's Tommy, right? Yeah, from Friday the 13th, Part 4, 5, and 6.
Mhm.
He was supposed to come back and be a protagonist, and they wrote him out. And I'm like, there goes your connection. Now,
Yeah.
number 2 literally has a connection to the first one, but the only different thing is it goes from horror to straight out comedy. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. That is more comedy than horror. And the opening scene, it's great horror too, I'll say, but then the rest of the movie, like you got Leatherface trying to like with the chainsaw, trying to entice this woman. It's just grunting, it's just hilarious. And Dennis
Mhm.
Hopper, he's dressed like a sheriff the entire time. Probably high on whatever he was high on. Just walking around waiting to duel. Just waiting to duel. I think I froze Martin again. But don't worry, this is my number 1. So number 1, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
I knew it. All right, good. At least I
Yeah,
predicted it.
Yep.
One of the
I almost gave it away earlier, and for once I kept my mouth shut.
that's
So I was gonna compare it to the Jason Goes to Hell one, and yeah, good call on Halloween 3 because that still irks me to this day.
oh, that Michael wasn't in there. Yeah, but I've grown to love it because of Tom Atkins and just that song. What's that song?
3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween. Shamrock. Yeah, fuck that.
Oh, it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
I remember when they used to show that jingle would play during the promo commercials that the movie was going to play on TV, and that was even worse because you'd hear it 40 times a day.
Yep.
As long as you weren't wearing a mask, you were good. Now, as my top 5's finished, I need to hear John's because
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm
My-
really excited.
All right, John.
My
what do you
top
got?
5 was inspired by Tammy and Andy.
Kids that
and it
deserve
is-
to die.
Nope. Close. It is 5 selfish decisions that get everybody killed.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Or almost
actually.
everybody killed.
Like this
So-
week, I can think of the news.
Right?
Hmm.
So my number 5, and it would be higher if I actually liked the movie enough, is Andre in Dawn of the Dead 2004.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Andre is played by Mekhi Phifer. So again, we're right back to the rules I've laid out about zombie apocalypses. You can't have them living with you. And he violates that rule right from the start with his pregnant wife.
He does
who
the
is
opposite.
hiding
of Dawn.
away. Yeah. He is hiding his pregnant wife away, even though she is clearly infected and then a zombie, just so that she can give birth to one of the best parts of the movie is a zombie baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene freaks me out
But
still.
his selfishness puts a mall full of survivors at risk.
Yes, it does.
And interestingly enough, it doesn't actually cause the compromise, which is nice. The it doesn't compromise their integrity in the mall, I should say. It doesn't cause a compromise either. They kill everybody over it. And that poor old lady takes a dirt nap because of it too. I forgot her character name.
I can't remember her name either, but yeah,
She does.
You should never have stopped just hosting rap battles, Mekhi Phifer. What were you thinking?
vomit on his sweater already. Number 4 is Juno in The Descent.
I thought you meant like
Okay.
the movie Juno. I was
No,
like, sweet.
I mean, listen.
She betrays herself.
I mean, she's selfish right from the start. She's selfish and an asshole right from the start, carrying on an affair with her best friend's husband.
Yeah.
But then she takes what's a fairly inexperienced group of spelunkers to what she says is a famous cave and it's going to be a great time. But instead, it's some unknown, unmapped cave full of little demon monster crawlers that gets all of her friends killed except one. Then that's all selfishness because she's an adrenaline junkie. She needed to go and explore this crazy cave, and that's that for her friends. So my number 3 is the biggest movie on this list. It's Mayor Vaughn in Jaws.
Nice.
Okay.
Is outright I mean, listen, a giant killer shark on the waters off your coastal town. Of course you close the beaches, right?
Of course.
No,
Right?
not on the biggest
Right.
holiday weekend of the year, John.
No, yeah, not Mayor Vaughn. I mean,
I can
he
argue with
says
a man
he
who's
fe-
lining up to be a hot lunch.
he says he can't cost the town the revenue from the holiday weekend. But the reality is, it's his concern for his future as mayor. So he opts to leave the beach open, turning townsfolk and tourists into a buffet.
Buffet.
A buffet.
All right.
I feel like I've picked on fathers a lot today, but, you know.
Just keep it
Number
going.
2, Louis Creed in Pet Sematary.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's dumb.
Yeah.
You know, his inability to cope with loss, and then to teach his kids about loss, and then to handle the loss of his own child, ruins everything because he can't stop burying people in a cursed graveyard.
I mean,
Well,
yeah. I think, didn't they say that there's a chance they'll come back good, though? But, like, not very good chance.
there was
I mean, it's a horror movie. There's zero chance they're
Yeah,
going to
it's
come
true.
back good.
True.
just
There's
just
also
They're
like
going to come back bad.
in the book. There's one that comes back. I think good in the book, but then the rest are all evil. It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
typically.
great. Great book that connects to Pet Sematary directly, but not strongly, is Insomnia. If you want to read Insomnia. Insomnia is one of the lesser known but great King books. You must read Insomnia. Right. What else we got? Was that number 1?
No,
Nope, that was number 2. Number 1 is my controversial opinion. Number 1 is going to bring back some childhood trauma for you, Kearns. My number 1 most selfish character in a horror movie is Andy in Child's Play.
What did Andy do?
He didn't give up.
Besides-
All he had to do was give Charles Lee Ray a simple sacrifice. Give him your soul, and everybody you meet the rest of your life will not be killed by a doll.
Fair. That's fair.
Because Andy refuses to do that, everybody dies. And we get a movie like Seed of Chucky eventually, too.
Yeah, that's how we
Yeah.
sacrificed
And
us.
Yeah, he did.
That is all Andy's fault. All Andy's fault.
That's fair. All right.
I agree.
So there's the top 5s. That is, I mean, there's a fiery end to your top 5 list there. But I'm with you, I guess. All right, everybody. That was 28 weeks later. Xenomania episode something in the 20s. And yeah, guys, we'll catch you next time, all right?
Have a good one, guys.
They
Be